Everyone, John Ponick with the Mojave Valley Daily News. This is our March Madness. We're going to do kind of a recap this week. That's why we have the man in here. Dave
Thank
Heath.
you, John. Appreciate that.
I was talking
Oh, sorry.
Dave.
My bad. Wasn't paying attention.
So, Dave, thanks, man. I appreciate you.
Thanks for having me, John.
I had to ask
Thanks
Dave.
for the warm welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I'm like, hey, Dave, do you think you could? Yep, I'm in. So, Mr. Basketball, we got him in here. And then
That guy.
Matt.
Yeah.
Matt
I
Hanrahan is
appreciate
back.
it. The third, fourth, fifth, and sixth option were out, so
So
John
we
placed the
went to
call.
Matt.
It was very kind of you. Good
Matt
being
was
here.
wandering around in the parking lot. He wanted to, not
Can I
looking in the
please-
windows.
Can I please
Are
come
you guys
in,
filming
please?
today? So what we're going to do is we're going to recap the first two rounds of March Madness, not game by game, but we're going to talk about highlights and things that you guys are surprised about and that. Let's start with, before I get, I'm going to go over the businesses and who's still alive with what teams and all that. But if you guys one by one could tell me what is your takeaway from the first two rounds? What is the one thing that smacks you in the face?
I mean, obviously there's some clear-cut ones, but I think the ones that are maybe not expected, but kind of still expected. Iowa State, to me, that's a big one. It's a team that was 2-22, I think, last year, and now they're in the Sweet 16. Going through some teams that are some pretty tough teams. I thought that was pretty surprising for the weekend. And then you got upper teams that I thought wouldn't do as well. Like, I didn't think Purdue had what they needed to get to the Sweet 16. Their just defense isn't solid, and great offense, just not a lot of defense, but found a way to win. So to me, I think those were two surprising things for me.
I asked for takeaways, surprising things.
That's a
down
takeaway.
Further, but that's fine.
I'm gonna have more surprising things.
Good. Dave, what do you think?
Well, the first weekend for me so far, it's been kind of like it was last year. It's about the Big Ten. I mean, the Big Ten, I think they get really hyped up during the season. ESPN loves them, but they don't get it done. So they're left with two teams again, and of those two teams, you got Michigan again. And Michigan gets it done every tournament. I mean, they're not in a lot of Final Fours, but in the last, I think it's 20 years, they are the second most winning team in the NCAA tournament behind Gonzaga. Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Neither did I.
Learned something new.
Okay, I'm done, everybody.
That was very impressive.
Now you know why Dave's here.
That's right.
All right, so I'm going to go through the businesses that still have teams that are alive. Al Jimenez, Sell Your House, has Michigan. Ashley Garrett for mayor has Iowa State. Barron Pest
You can say it.
Solutions,
It's okay.
never heard of them,
You can say it.
has Texas Tech. Barron Security Solutions has Purdue. Culligan has Duke. File Jewelers has Arkansas. Listen to this. John and Stephanie Canati, Desert Time Realty, St. Peter's and Arizona. So remember we were giving them a hard time about having a 15 and a 1?
And it all worked out, yeah. I think they should get something special just for having St. Peter's in there.
They should,
They
just
should.
to get to the round of 16.
That's
Reynolds Mortgage has Gonzaga. Sandy's Home Improvement has UCLA. State Farm Kitty Carling has Providence. Swantees has Miami. Tri-State Tool has North Carolina. Tri-State Turf, Houston and Kansas. So they also have both of theirs still alive. And Uncle Al's has Villanova. So you talked a little bit about teams and everything. Let's talk about the best game from the first two rounds. I know that you guys watched quite a bit of it. I watched some of it. What was the best game that you saw, even if it was highlights? Obviously, the Arizona game last night was an interesting one going to overtime, but was that the best game you saw? Or?
You want to take this one first?
Sure, I'll go ahead. I mean, mine's kind of a biased selection.
Kind of.
And the reason why is because Lonnie Langston, who everyone knows used to play at Mojave High School, was the point guard there. He used to go to Arizona Western College, and one of the players he played with at Arizona Western was Plummer from Illinois, and that game against Chattanooga, it's Plummer for three, Plummer for three, Plummer for two, Plummer with the free throws right at the end of the game, winning that 1-point game for them, only having the lead for the last 25 seconds of the game. And Lonnie actually got to drive out, or got to fly out there
that's cool.
and be at that game in Pittsburgh. So he had a great time. I had a great time watching him go nuts on TV. So that did it for me real well. I like that a lot. Sadly, Illinois is out, but it's not
Another
because
Big Ten
of
team.
Alfonso Plummer. He did his job. So.
I think you can't go wrong with any St. Peter's game being the most exciting game of the entire time, right? Right? There's no way that anybody could look at any of those games and say that, man, what a great takeaway. The things that stand out, whatever category you want to call it.
My problem is I don't watch it for the first 30 minutes because I figure they're going to get blown out. Oh,
Right.
they'll get it handed to them.
Everybody
sooner or
watched
later.
the last 2
God,
minutes
I
of
better
both
turn this
games.
on.
Yeah, exactly. Like I was telling you earlier, I did the 2 TV thing, and I didn't watch any of the St. Peter's games at all, except for the last 2 or 3 minutes for the most part. But that's like that with most of the games, right? So they're probably done, but at the same time, to me, that's the takeaway. If you're a college basketball fan or not, that's the team you're rooting for right now. St.
Yeah,
Peter's.
for sure. I mean, we all are, expecting Gonzaga or Kentucky or one of them to go on. But when you get, well, not Kentucky, but when you get to not anymore anyway. When you get to a 15 seed that's making waves and and they look legit. It's not like they are catching the right seed at the wrong time or something. They look legit. So that's fun to watch for sure. All right, I think it's got to be, all right, let's take the St. Peter's game out of it. Outside of that, the most surprising result of the first 2 rounds.
I think Miami getting through to where they're at. I think both games, Miami winning.
And
I think you can make a case for Notre Dame as well early on, even though they didn't quite make to the 16. But I think Miami getting through and being where they're at now, and now they get to match up against another double-digit seed, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what a great opportunity. But I didn't put a lot of stock in Miami, and they're playing well.
And I think it was the SC game where SC made that big run at the end, and it looked like, well, this is going to be it.
Right.
And they held them up at the end.
And you had a lot of folks saying Miami will beat USC, but then that's it. That'll be the one time. But they've found a way, and they're on the right side of the bracket right now too, with the way things are falling. So.
And now they get an 11 seed. If they beat them, then they'll get either Kansas or Providence.
Right.
I agree with you about the Notre Dame too. By the way, no one had them
Nobody.
playing game, and they won it, and that kind of screwed it up for everyone because people had Rutgers going far in some places. I think. I'm again going to go back to the Big Ten now. Michigan, they were clearly underrated, but
11
deservedly so because they were struggling, limping. Losing
Sure.
their coach the last 5 games of the season, then going into their tournament and not doing great, and I mean they won the first, but they were limping in, and so you could imagine them not doing well in the tournament, and when you look at an 11 seed, getting to where they're getting, and now they've got a chance to win another game. I think I like Michigan, and I like Juwan Howard. He's a fiery guy.
He is, as a Wisconsin fan, I can
think
confirm.
His team feeds off it,
Yeah.
and I think they're doing.
Didn't you love that
some
scene
stuff.
though when he's consoling the kid
Oh,
from the
yeah,
losing
the other
team?
team.
Gosh,
Especially after everything Juwan Howard's gone through in the last
Yeah.
couple 3 weeks. I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
That's what
that
it's all
was
about.
nice.
Do you put either of you guys put a lot of stock in the fact that when we talk about NFL teams, we go, well, they've been there before. The coaching staff or some of the players or whatever, they've been there before. Where this other team is, they haven't made the playoffs in 6 years, so whatever. Do you put stock in the fact that these teams have been to the tournament, whether they're a high seed or a low seed or whatever, year after year after year, and specifically talking about like Michigan? Does that give them a little extra something, even though they're 11 seed and they're going against whatever is it, 8, I think it was, or 6, I guess. Does that carry any weight for you guys?
It's hard. Gosh, it's hard for me because now you're in this era of one and dones where you have so many kids that aren't sticking around for the full 4 years. So it's hard to carry that into the next year. So when you do have a team, like Gonzaga, which, gosh, they're my prime example of why you can't say, okay, what they did before is going to happen good again because they've never won one yet.
No.
I mean, they've got to Final Fours but not won it. And then you've got UCLA basically bringing back the whole team. You got to feel good about that. But it's hard to predict these days.
Yeah, I totally agree when it comes to teams not sticking together because guys are going to play NBA or overseas or whatever it might be. But I think a lot of it isn't necessarily teams that have been there before doing better. I think a lot of it lands on the coach. I think you looked at this Sweet 16 group and there's a lot of kind of program builders in there. And I think if you can have stability there, that's a huge part of it. But it's got to be way more difficult than it used to be to have stock in the fact that, well, Michigan's there every year, so they're going to be there every year, or Duke's there every year, they're going to be there every year, because players are leaving left and right, just like you said. You've got a lot of teams that are, I think, going to continue to advance, or those teams that are senior and junior kind of driven. There's a lot of great freshmen out there, a lot of great sophomore out there, but I think if you've got some team leaders at the senior junior level, I think that will help. I think we'll see that as we go through the rest of the tournament.
Great. All right, let me go through Thursday's games real quick. We have 4 games Thursday and 4 games Friday. I'm going to go through the 4 games on Thursday, and then you guys tell me any predictions.
Any predictions?
Thoughts
about these games?
about
Gotcha.
those,
Not just in
preferably
general
about,
predictions.
Yeah, like
Okay.
I think it's going to be sunny and 80.
Well, then I
know,
probably
Hot
shouldn't
dog
be here.
vendors
I had
gonna
some great
fall down
predictions
the
over
stairs.
here. Now I
Yeah,
can't
but
use
that-
them.
No.
Thanks.
I mean, when it's done, if you're going to do another show where
Then we
go,
can do predictions.
yeah, like a Karnak thing.
Nostradamus, more your era. Nostradamus.
All right,
More
let's
our
start.
era.
Let's start with Arizona and Houston. Arizona's a 1 seed, Houston's a 5 seed. That's on Thursday.
Game of the week.
Go.
Game of the week. That's all
Yeah?
I'm going to say. Game of the week.
Of the whole
Of
weekend,
the,
a 1 to
all
5
the
is-
suites of the Sweet 16, maybe even of the Grade 8.
Yeah.
I think you got 2 phenomenal physical teams and a Houston team that missed 2 of their top 4 players for most of the season. I think that Arizona had a hard time getting by TCU. It's going to be the same situation here, even though I like Arizona.
I like Arizona too. I think that the whole, what's his name?
He has Kerr in the back, but they
Yeah.
call him by his first name. I don't understand what's going on there.
Well, U of A, and
Yeah.
they say he was named after Steve Kerr. So, but he's back and he's playing. He's not starting yet, but he might be starting again coming up. And they've got that size on defense. But Houston was. Matt's right. This is going to be a great game. Houston was underseeded as well, and they are tough as nails.
We just don't do that Matt's right thing again. I think that's twice.
No,
It's up
too
here
much
now.
of
I'll
that.
never forget. It's
you
up
can't
here.
get
I got
out.
it ingrained.
Michigan, 11 seed against Villanova. You had said that you think that they got a good matchup. That's a good matchup. 11 against number 2, Villanova. Is that
I
because
think,
of the
I
way
think it's a good
style of play?
matchup, but the problem is with Villanova, you talk about coaches. Jay Wright is just, in my opinion, the best coach right now.
Yeah, he's
I
great.
love him as a coach.
Yeah.
And what he has his team doing so well right now is hitting free throws. So if Michigan's going to do it, they better take a big lead. Because if they get down to the last few minutes and it's a close game, they're going to lose that free throw contest, and that'll be it.
I didn't like the way Villanova was playing coming into the tournament, so I had them going out pretty early. But I think they've kind of found that mojo again, and I just don't. Michigan's been a nice little Cinderella story, but I don't think they have the firepower to stay with a team like Villanova.
Really?
No.
So now that Villanova's clicking again, they're too strong.
When you're playing
Michigan.
4 games to win it all,
Yeah.
all you got to do is go on a hot streak for 4 games, right? And that's usually what we see come NCAA tournament time.
Okay. All right. The West, all the top seeds are left. 1, 2, 3, 4. So we got number 1 Gonzaga against Arkansas. Gonzaga still the best team left in the tournament?
I don't think so.
Really?
I don't think so.
Did you think they were before the first 2 rounds?
Probably. I don't like the way, and I can't remember his name, not Timmy, but the other big man. I don't like the way he's playing. He's playing soft. He's not hitting his jumpers. If he can turn that around, I think that makes a difference. But I don't think they're the maybe 2 or 3 right now. But again, I like them, but they're not playing the way they should be playing.
Are they good enough to beat Arkansas?
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is, back to coaches again, Arkansas with Musselman, I mean, it's clear that some sort of edict has gone out across the SEC
Right.
to say, hey, let's make our basketball teams good so this network can be worth even more all year long. And when they get guys like Musselman in there to do their job, and he's doing well, gosh, as a college coach, he's impressed me. So I think they can give him a run for their money.
Texas Tech, 3 seed up against Duke. Coach K making his final run. Does he get past this round?
I think Duke's caught lightning in a bottle. I
Really?
really do. I think they have looked strong to me, and when they get into the second half of games, they start pulling away a little bit. They look like the team to beat, and they've got talent all over the court. And I think now the team is thinking about the tournament more than they're thinking about Coach K.
Yeah.
I think in their league tournament they were thinking about Coach K. Of course, that last game of the year against North Carolina they were thinking about Coach K, and it just kind of.
Yeah.
And now I think they're
can
thinking
tell
about
they were
the
off,
tournament.
for sure.
Yeah.
Although I think most people are picking Texas. As a matter of fact, Texas Tech is the favorite in this game. I'm not a Duke fan. I never really have been, but you got to root. I think you have to root for him this year if you're going to root for him, because what Coach K has done over the decades is amazing. But I don't like the way they played against Michigan State. I thought they pulled that out late, and they probably shouldn't have. Against maybe a more veteran Michigan State team, they probably lose that game. But they are playing really well, to your point. I just think Texas Tech on defense is legit. I like Texas Tech here.
Yeah, you said that earlier
Yeah.
when we did last week's
Yeah.
show too. All right, Midwest. These are all on Friday. We got number 1 Kansas against Providence.
Yeah, Kansas. I don't care what game we talk about. If they don't win this region, there's something wrong. Everything just fell for them. I mean, there's some good teams playing well, and I get it, but this is a Kansas win, and then again.
Yeah, they got
on
a
the
4, a 10, or 11.
Yeah.
Is who they're going to.
And they're playing tough right now. And adding, they've had Remy Martin all year, but he's been injured. If you're an Arizona State fan, you're crazy about the guy. But it took him some time to get used to things. And watching him play this week and remind me of ASU times. Oh man, that boy can play.
Yes, he can.
And now that he's fitting in, I think they got a chance to go really far.
Yeah, that made me feel great watching Remy Martin play and basically, carrying them to that win. He was the guy that made that happen for them, and it was good to see. So I'm rooting for them the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Kansas all the way?
Yeah.
Well, we'll get to your predictions here in a little bit. But all right, and then we have number 10 Miami against number 11 Iowa State. Iowa State knocked out Wisconsin.
Wisconsin and who? Wisconsin Green Bay was in the tournament? No?
Wisconsin Badgers.
Oh, Wisconsin Badgers. Davis had a really good weekend of basketball. One of the best players in
anyway,
the country really struggled.
We have Miami, number 10, against Iowa State.
I got to go with Miami on that one. Iowa State, I mean, they've won these 2 games in a row, but they're, again, another team that was struggling when they came in. And, gosh, they just have such a hard time scoring. And I know they play great defense, too, but at some point you're really going to have to pull out the offense. And I think they'll need that against Miami, and I think Miami will get the better of them.
Yeah, I would agree. I think it's the game that nobody would probably care to watch, unfortunately, right? But there's still 2 very solid teams, don't get me wrong. And there's a huge Cinderella factor to the point that how bad Iowa State was last year, right? So people don't think about it because it's Iowa State, it's not St. Peter's. But yeah, I like Miami. Yeah.
All right, and then we have the East, last 2 games. Number 8 North Carolina against 4 UCLA. A lot of experience in the March Madness tournament from those 2 teams. What do you got?
Yeah, I like UCLA. I'm concerned about the injury. The Jaquez or whatever his last name is. He might not play. He's got an ankle problem late in the game. But the experience UCLA has, they're tournament proven. But at the same time, is anybody really playing better than North Carolina right now? Not really, right? So this is another good game this week. But I like UCLA.
That's the other thing too, is the how hot North Carolina has been, and their confidence has to be through the roof, and it is. You can see the way that they're playing, and Hubert Davis has finally gotten them to buy into something, and I like Mick Cronin, but the Jaquez, that injury is
that's gonna hurt.
It's hurt them every time he's gone out, and he's gone out kind of a lot the last 2 years, and I think it'll be the difference in this. I'll go with North Carolina.
And North Carolina's pace of play is just frenetic. I mean, it's all over the place, and UCLA is more methodical about things. And I think if you're not healthy, North Carolina's got a real shot here. Yeah, they got a real shot here. But I just think UCLA's tested. We'll see what happens.
All right, and the big question: number 15 St. Peter's, number 3 Purdue. I had their nickname
The
too.
Peacocks.
Yes.
Yes.
Do the Peacocks keep it going against the Boilermakers?
I'll go first. Yeah, not gonna happen. I like the thumbs
Man.
down. I mean, do you want to see it happen though? I do.
Yes,
I'm all for it. You kidding me? And I think I have Purdue in the deal here, but
You do.
at the same time, don't you want them to win the whole thing?
Yeah.
I do, especially from New
absolutely.
Jersey. I was born in Jersey, so I got to root for the Jersey team. But
And I'm going to watch this one from the beginning, so I'm sure they'll get That's 15 in the first 5
Nobody
minutes,
watched until the last 2 minutes of the game.
All right, well, that's heartbreaking, but I mean, I'm with you guys. I'll root for them. All right, so Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we have the 3rd round and the Elite 8. So after this weekend, we will have our Final 4. I'm going to start with Matt.
Okay.
Who are your Final 4 teams?
Yeah, I like Purdue over UCLA, even though I don't know if they can play defense well enough. It's picked up, but we'll see. If UCLA does advance, it's a slower pace, and they can handle that. So I like Purdue there. I like Gonzaga over Texas Tech, although I think if that's the matchup, I think you're going to see even money, so-called, on this game. I think people like Texas Tech right now.
Defense?
I think teams like them right now. I really do. Or people like them right now. I've seen a lot of that. A lot of people picking them. So I like Gonzaga, Purdue on that side, and then I like Gonzaga to advance. If that's the way it falls, I don't think Purdue can hang with Gonzaga.
Okay.
And then on the other side, Arizona over Villanova, and Kansas with the easy walk-in over Miami. That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I'm glad we're not in the same pool because I have the
Right.
exact same
There
Final
you go.
Four. Yes, I do. I just it seems like those are the matchups that all seem to click right now. I could be picking U of A because my luck when it comes to picking games is pretty horrible, and I hate U of A. So the odds are better if I pick them.
Hold
to get
anything
into the
back
Final
there.
Four, so.
Don't sugarcoat it.
Could you imagine though, Remy Martin playing Arizona in the Final Four? How
That
cool!
would be
how cool
awesome.
that would be! For
I didn't
him.
even think about
Yeah,
it until you
how
just
cool
said
that would be
that.
for
That would
him.
be great.
Where are the semifinals at? Do you know?
I don't know.
Final Four?
Yeah.
New Orleans.
New Orleans. Yeah.
Okay, well, go get your plane tickets ready.
Who do you have? You didn't pick.
No,
give
I
us
don't.
the Final Four.
You guys know I'm the
Just at least give us a Final Four. You know, Wisconsin's out, just so you know.
Oh well,
I
then
didn't wanna-
then forget it.
yeah,
I'm not
that's why
playing.
you gave up. I got it.
No, I don't have an educated opinion of this. It's I have to go by what you guys said because I haven't been following them all year. I'm a Big Ten guy, and so I watched the Big Ten play, and I was not surprised at all. Even the Badgers, who I live and die with, I was not surprised at all to see them bounced.
So you're rooting for Michigan then, the rest of the way out?
I
Or
will
can
root
you
for
not?
Michigan.
You will.
Yeah, I'll root for Michigan
Or
to
Purdue.
face
I
Purdue
mean,
in the finals.
Yeah.
Purdue was a team early in the season. Gosh, they struck me the first half of the season as the best team in the country.
Yeah.
they're-
They were
they're
the only team
phenomenal
that
on
looked to me
offense.
like they were pulling away, and then struggled a little in the second half. But gosh, they can do it.
It's their defense. If their defense is solid, that offense is legitimate, and they've got bigs, they've got guards. It's a team that I thought would struggle a little bit because of the defense, but so far it hasn't happened.
All right, so here's what I need to happen. The way this is going to work is next Monday we're going to do this again, but what we're going to do is have representatives from the 4 businesses that are still alive.
Very cool.
Okay, so I need both Texas Tech and Purdue to get bounced because if one of those stay in, that means Matt has to be in here to represent them as Barron.
But wait
Or
a
you can
minute.
bring one of your.
I was going to say, if they both make it, what do we do then? Because they're on opposite sides.
Ah,
Then it has to be 2 people from Barron. I'm just
Best
saying.
laid plans, huh?
That's right.
can you bring
much for
Tiff
that.
in?
I can.
All right.
Tiffany can bring me in, actually.
All right.
Because she's in charge of everything.
Then I'm good with that. Trying to figure out who else I want to.
That's a
in
cool
here.
idea. I like that.
All right, so if Texas Tech and Purdue and Arizona and St. Peter's all win, it will be. Does Purdue play? No, they can't. They can't both win. All right, because we got John and Stephanie Canati, Desert Time Realty of St. Peter's in Arizona. So those could both be in here.
They could be in the finals. They could be in the championship game together.
It could be.
And if anybody in the country roots for Arizona, even if you're an Arizona fan, right, and St. Peter's gets into the championship game,
Yeah.
aren't you rooting for St. Peter's?
Yeah, absolutely.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know you are. There's no doubt about it.
Because apparently there's some sort of issue there.
Yeah, we really don't like Arizona in this room.
All right, I forgot to mention, this is sponsored by Anderson Ford, so I need to thank Matt Curtis and Bill Smith and all the guys over at Anderson for doing that. And Dave, thank you, man. I appreciate you coming in.
Pleasure was mine.
Matt.
It's good to see you, John. It's good.
And thank you guys for joining us. This has been a lot of fun and illuminating. Go out and put your money on. These 2 guys are experts, so the fact that they both landed on the same Final Four
It means they're all going to be wrong.
put the house on it.
Opposite of what I said.
They're all
Put
going to
the
be
house
wrong.
on it. All right, thanks everyone for joining us, and we'll see you next time.